All right, good. We're recording. Okay, for the record, this is Elevate Training Session 5 on three-way calls and handling objections. All right, can y'all hear me? Okay, good. I'm going to do just a little bit of talking tonight, and then we're actually going to watch some stuff together. So as I started preparing for this tonight, I just started realizing that there is so much good training already out there on these subjects. And so I really feel strongly about trying not to recreate the wheel. If it's already been done, there's no reason that we need to be spending a ton of time trying to do it anymore or anything like that. So I just want to point us to the recordings that are already really good, and hopefully kind of watch those together, and then maybe just kind of talk about them and see if anybody has any questions. So the first thing that I want to say about three-way calls is, y'all, everybody's posting in Elevate real quick. Let me check. I'm afraid some people can't get on. Yeah, they need to jump on. Hang on one second. Okay. Let me tag them in. Could y'all find I guess y'all could find the post for where the Zoom training, maybe it got, here it is. Let me tag them real quick.
Yeah, now I had to go back in like my notifications. For some reason, it wasn't on my Elevate page. I don't know if I'm the only one who had to do that or not. So that's why I'm like,
maybe so.
Yeah.
Okay, I just tagged them, so hopefully they'll jump on in just a second. So the first thing I want to talk about for three-way calls is why we do them. And it's super awkward. Everyone feels awkward about it. Everyone feels awkward about inviting people to three-way calls. Everyone feels awkward about doing them. I felt the same way when Demetria suggested it to me for the first time. I was like, what? Why? I don't get it. And then the more you do them, the more comfortable it becomes, and you just start to understand it, and it works. That's the one thing I want y'all to walk away with tonight, is understanding that three-way calls just absolutely work. And so when you do them, the people on my team that bring me the most three-way calls tend to be the ones that are recruiting the fastest. And the best description I ever heard about why we do them was, picture this. So picture, like, as you're growing up your whole life, your mom is like, you're so precious, you're so beautiful, and you hear that all the time, and you're like, yeah, mom, of course you think I'm beautiful. You have to think I'm beautiful. You're my mom. But then, so she says that all day long, and then say you walk into a store and some total stranger is like, oh my gosh, you're just beautiful. You're so precious. And you're like, oh, really? I am? Like, oh, thanks. And so that is called third-party validation. That is when, like, you may have heard it 100 times, and you may have somebody saying it to you over and over. But when you hear it from a third party, even if they're saying the exact same thing, when you hear it from somebody else, for some reason it just clicks, or it just helps, or it reiterates, or it makes sense, or whatever the case may be. So that is the reason that we do three-way calls, is for that third-party validation. And another similar story is, like, when Demetria was really sort of prospecting me and recruiting me, I already respected her opinion. I thought she hung the moon. And so whatever she was going to do, I was going to follow her. But before we joined, she was like, you know what? I just want you to meet my friend Liz and talk to her and see what you think about her story. And so she got this girl out of California who was a nurse practitioner on the phone with me, and she told me her story, and that sealed the deal for me. It wasn't that I didn't believe Demetria. It wasn't that I wasn't going to follow Demetria. It was that she found somebody with my similar story that connected with me. And just to hear that someone else with my education agreed that this was a good endeavor. And so that's kind of what totally sealed the deal for me. So that's why we do them. Now, there are two types that as far as our team goes, that I feel like there are two types of three-way calls. And I've really just started kind of making the second one a new thing on our team. So the most common type of three-way call you're going to hear is for a pre-enrollee. So this is for a potential consultant, someone that you're talking to, someone that you're trying to get to join your team. You've already been in pretty extensive conversation with them, and we may come back and talk about that because we want them to be what we call qualified. So they need to be qualified to come to the call. meaning that you have given them enough information to where the person that you're bringing the call, if you're bringing it to your upline or to Becky or to Liz or whatever, that they're not going to spend a ton of time talking details. Okay. And then the second type of three-way call that we have started using on our team is a post enrollee. And so that's a brand new consultant that I would say within the first week or so. And what we've been doing is, like last week I did one with Suzanne where her brand new consultant, she just brought to me on the phone, and it was a 5-minute call. And it was just for me to be able to say, hey, welcome to our team. We are so glad to have you. And here's what I think you should expect over the next couple weeks. You should expect to be overwhelmed. You should expect to feel like I have made the wrong decision and freak out. You should expect to be added to a ton of Facebook pages. You should expect to have your Facebook blow up with notifications. Like, just tell them what to expect so that when it happens, they can be like, oh yeah, Suzanne's leader told me that this was going to happen, and not to freak out and not to feel overwhelmed, and maybe to turn off notifications for this page and this page or whatever. But if they know ahead of time what to expect, and then I'll also walk through, this is what your training should look like. And so that I say that for the new person to hear that, but also for the sponsor to hear that. So like when I just recently went through, hey, this is what your next few weeks of training should look like. I want the brand new consultant to hear that, but I want their sponsor to hear that I'm holding them accountable to getting this person trained too. Okay. So that's a post enrollee three-way call. That's just where you bring your brand new person to your upline just to welcome them to the team and to kind of tell them what to expect. So if y'all have new people that you've added that either me or Demetria don't know about, don't hesitate to reach out and say, hey, we need to do we're calling those a welcome call. And it's a pretty fairly new thing that we've started. So don't feel like you've missed out on some information or something. All right, so I felt like it would be most beneficial for us tonight. So there is a training call on three-way calls. We're going to watch 2 separate videos together. The first one is about 20 minutes, but I may not let it run that long just till we get past her good points. And then the next one's just like a 6 or 8 minute. But I just felt like there was no reason for me to re-say all of this because this chick already says it really good. So some of y'all may have already seen this. It's on the daily experience. So I'm going to share our screen. We're going to watch it together and then come back and see if we have any questions or things I want to reiterate. I hope y'all can hear when I share my screen. Give me a thumbs up when it starts if you can hear it.
Hey everyone, it's Marissa McDonough. I am an RFX Circle Achiever out of Bozeman, Montana. And as I'm waiting for a few people to jump on live, let's start with a little bit of humor. So I did for 4 people that would be a great referral for Sue and her business. I'm giving her a number to shoot for the referrals. So often I hear from people on my team and they say, it's the best training platform, but gosh, I don't know if I like those girls. They're amazing. They're so well put together. They're beautiful, all those things. And I thought, I'll just come in and lower the status quo here. My hair is wet. Just got out of the shower. The baby's finally down for a nap. And I sit down and I've got my laptop here with my notes. I've got my papers here in front of me. And I got my iPad rolling to start this. And the damn thing won't work. It's been on airplane mode for a few days. So just so you know, I'm a hot mess and I don't have it all together. But I want to train today on three-way calls because I have to be honest with you, I think they're the golden nugget in this business. And I get asked all the time, and I know people get asked all the time, what's the secret? Well, we all know there isn't a secret. But if there's one thing that I can tell anybody, the best way, in my opinion, to build your business is through the three-way conference call. So now we don't call it a three-way when we're talking to prospects because that's just straight up weird, right? Can we all get an amen? I call it a conference call, or I love to say, I want you to meet my friend, or I want you to meet my business partner. But let's go through the steps. If you've ever done a training with me, I'm very systematic. I bullet point everything, and I'm to the point. I'm a no BS girl. So if you're sitting here thinking, I don't want to do three-way calls, or I can't reinvent the wheel, or I don't have time, I'm going to call your BS on that. It's not true. So I'm going to challenge you to be coachable here and start to really implement this. I promise you it will change your business. I often get asked, I can recruit like crazy. I don't need to bring people to a three-way call, but I'm not duplicating. in my opinion, you will not duplicate without the three-way call. So obviously this is just my training and this is all my opinion, disclaimer, but I think this is really important. So grab a piece of paper, number one, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lead you through 5 steps for a successful conference call. And I've got a lot of notes going on here, so I'm going to be everywhere. And again, bear with me, and hopefully the baby stays asleep. And maybe my hair will be dry by the end, so I can go straight in. So here we go. 5 steps to a successful 3-way call. Number 1, you have to have a recorded call that you love to use. And what I mean by this is a recorded opportunity call. There's a cajillion of them out there. Please do not send me a private message or post in the comments which is your favorite one. There isn't one that's my favorite. I personally use my own, or I use one of my uplines. Shout out to Romy Newstat. I love her recorded call. But guys, how many incredible calls there are. Don't go searching for the perfect one. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Just get one that you like, that you feel is relatable, and stick to it. So number 1, recorded call, opportunity call. Number 2, you need to learn how to set the appointment. And I'm going to walk you through these, but let's bullet point it out first. Number 3, you need to start a text loop between the 3 people who will be on the call. Pretty simple. I'll walk you through it. Number 4, you need to send an email to your upline to set yourself up for a successful call. Again, we'll walk you through this. And number 5, we're going to actually go through the 3-way call. So this is going to apply to everybody, whether you're leading the 3-way call or whether you're bringing, because really we should be doing both, right? But we want to be prepared. We want to be bringing 3-ways and we want to be doing 3-ways. Now, here's the important thing. You guys have to understand that you may sit there and go, okay, I don't need a 3-way, but I need to get my downline to do a 3-way. Complete BS. Your downline is only going to do what you're doing. They follow you by example. I say BS a lot, don't I? It's okay. Here's the other thing. You are doing your team a disservice, your newbies, because you're not showing them the system. They may not be as strong as you. So we have to be doing 3-ways as leaders. And here's my favorite thing. Romy Newstat said it in her book, that your team will do half of what you do. So just remember that. If you are not doing 3-ways, you got a big goose egg this week, well, don't be frustrated that your team's not doing them or that there's no duplication. So what my challenge is for myself and for my leaders in my organization every single week is that you need 3-ways every single week. I moved over so you can see my cute kids and hopefully not be distracted by my hair. Okay, let's jump in. Recorded call. So here's how I lead people through the process. I've built my business on the phone. It's just the way I like to do things. So when I'm talking to somebody and they start asking questions, now I'm telling you this is the 15-minute phone call of just introducing them to Rodan and Fields and sharing my story. I'm giving them the sizzle, not the steak. If you give them the steak, there's no reason for them to continue on in the process. So if you like to talk a lot, set a timer. This call should be 15 minutes, and remember, you're giving the sizzle. So let's say you're chatting, you've shared your story, you've shared a little bit about the doctors and our incredible company and products, and they want more information. They're asking questions. And they'll say, hey, this is great. Can you send me an email? I'd like to get some more information. Or, yeah, I think I may be interested. Here's where you stop. And you don't continue to answer all their questions. You don't send them an email with 95 attachments and, a 3-scroll screen of information. Please, good God, no. If I have to scroll, I won't read it. It's just a rule of thumb. So what I say is, hey, I can see you're looking for more information. This is great. I'm actually going to send you a recorded call. You can listen to it at any time. It's a great overview of our business, our brand, our products, and what we actually do. Okay, that piece is important because a lot of people are like, okay, I got the information, but I don't know what the hell you do. They need to know. We need to realize and remember to really simplify this for them. And it takes 15 minutes to listen to this call. All you do is dial in and listen at any time. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to text it over to you right now. And I want you to listen to it this afternoon or tonight. Again, it's only 15 minutes. Will you have time to listen to this by the end of tonight? And I stop. Notice how I'm leading them. And of course, typically they say, yeah. Or if they say, I'm really busy, I can't get to it until tomorrow morning. Okay, so by noon tomorrow, you're gonna have listened to this call. So I'm setting up the appointment and I'm managing the schedule, for lack of better words. I say, great. After that, or excuse me, during the call, the recorded call, I want you to take some notes because you're gonna have some questions. It's really great. And what we're gonna do, the next step is, I wanna introduce you to my friend, Kim. And Kim is gonna tell you her story. It's really great to have another perspective. You're going to really relate to her, and she can answer any questions that you may have. Does 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock work for you tomorrow? So notice I'm telling them when to listen to the call, I'm telling them what the next step is, and I'm setting the appointment. Please do not send somebody a recorded call and say, I'll check in with you in a couple days. You have lost them. The window here is 24 hours, no longer than 48 hours. Again, I'm gonna be coachable here, short window. If it goes any longer, remember, this isn't a top priority for them right now. They are not going to listen to the call. It's just a fact of life. So I've sent them the recorded call. I've been through number 1, and I've led them through the process. Number 2, I've set the appointment. So I know, okay, 2 or 4 o'clock tomorrow, they pick the time, we set the appointment. So here's number 3, the text loop to confirm the 3-way call. I've got to give a shout out to Premier Lexus earner in my organization, Michelle Hodge. She is incredible. She's my engineer. She's the system. She keeps me in line. She came up with this system of the text loop. It's brilliant. So you send a quick text to your prospect, yourself, obviously, and your upline. And you say, ladies, so looking forward to everybody meeting each other tomorrow at 2. That confirms that the prospect understands that this is an appointment. How many people don't actually get people on the phone because they don't understand it's an appointment? This is an appointment. It confirms everybody's on the same loop and everybody has the phone numbers. Brilliant, really a great process. Okay, so now we've taken care of the text loop. Let's go to the email. Now I'm gonna give you some more numbers, some more bullets. You need to send an email when you're bringing your upline a 3-way call, and it needs to have 6 bullet pointed items. I don't want scrolling. I want to the point. Please do not text this. Please do not Facebook message this. It needs to be in an email, because when I'm on the phone and I'm busy and I'm running around, I've got my Bluetooth on, kids are crazy, I'm right here in the kitchen, I've got my laptop, I can pull up and I can see this information. So sending it in email format is very important. The first thing is I need to know the name of the prospect. Now this might sound silly, but for some uplines, we are doing multiple 3-ways a day. Believe it or not, I've called the prospect by the wrong first name. Can we get a raise of hand? Who else has done it? It's terrible, it's so awful. I need to know their name. Number 2, I need to know where they live. I wanna know city and state. Number 3, I wanna know what's in it for them. So tell me what's in it for this prospect. What are their pain points? What can we help with? This is really important because then I can make sure that when I'm chatting, when I'm sharing my story, and when I am sharing the story of our company, our doctors, everything, that I'm really talking to their needs. Because this isn't about us. I want to ask questions. I need to know what's in it for them. Number 4, I want to know, what are their possible objections? Is it time? Is it money? What are the possible objections that this prospect may bring me so that I can be prepared? Because I'm going to use the fill, felt, found method every time. Number 5, I want to know, what do they currently do in their profession, or what did they do in the past? Because for instance, I was an entrepreneur. I owned my own real estate company before coming into Verdane and Fields, and I worked them side by side for a couple of years. So if I'm getting on the phone with a heavy hitter professional, I'm going to go that way, because I could talk business all day long, and quite frankly, I love it. But if I'm getting on the phone with the stay-at-home mom, the last thing she wants to hear about is overhead and brick and mortar and advertising, right? No, she wants to know that I've got 3 kids and this is chaos and you're probably going to hear the baby in the background. So I want to know, what are their strengths? What have they done and what are they currently doing? And number 6, this is really important. I want to know, why do you want them? Why do you think they would be good at this business? Because guys, remember, we pick who we work with. And this is important. Why do you want them? 6 simple things. Because I could love to say, hey, you know what? Beth told me so many great things about you. And she said, you've got a wonderful network, that you are the one of the hardest workers she's ever met. I can pay her a compliment. And that is so powerful when we are working through a conference call. Okay, so those are the 6 steps in the email. The email was my 4th step. Stick with me. I got a lot of lists going on. So now number 5, let's go through the actual 3-way call. So when we jump on the call, it's timely, it's efficient. Remember, they've already listened to a recorded call, so they've got the majority of the information. They've already heard your story as the person bringing. So now I'm the upline, and I'm going to run this 3-way call. Number 1, this is all about them. So I want to ask them a question. So I literally will say, tell me what's exciting you for Dan Fields. I know you listened to the great call that so-and-so did. What are you excited about? Notice I'm going right for the positive, and I am assuming that they are excited. I'm not asking for questions. I think this is important. Tell me what you're excited about. Then the second thing that I do on the 3-way call, after what I hear excites them, so it can start to guide the call, I tell them my short story so that they hear another perspective and get another version of, oh, this is relatable. I can do this. Then the next step is I state the facts. And I tell them, hey, listen, when I was looking at this, I didn't think I had the time. I was a busy mom. I was an entrepreneur. But my business brain, when I heard these facts, these 4 simple facts, I knew it was something I shouldn't pass up. So I'm taking away that this is an opinion. These are facts. And when you use the word fact, it really grabs people's attention. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to simply share the 4 Ps, the 4 facts of our business. And I'm not going to go through everything, but I'm going to give you the overview here. Number 1, the presence of our doctors, the power of our brand. Fact. There's nothing better out there. Number 2, our incredible products. Okay, guys, we got a lot going on right now, right? We've had incredible products for years. Hello, Lash Boost. We just got done with the bundle sale, and now we have a new product launching soon. We have Australia coming on. Give them the excitement. Give them the facts. Those are all facts. Number 3, the programs that we have in place. What I mean by this is the incredible training. Hello, daily experience, both from a team standpoint, a culture standpoint, and a company standpoint. Coming from real estate, I paid thousands of dollars a year, thousands of dollars for continuing education. I was just on a 3-way call yesterday, and a gal said to me, you know what? The one thing that really caught my attention is so-and-so said that this is the best business training that they've ever had in their life. It's true. You've got to share the programs that we offer because we can show people that we have everything in place to set you up for success and that it's all in their hands to be successful. And then number 4, the 4th fact is profit. How do we make money in this business? The sky's the limit. And understand, again, what's in it for them, to tailor this piece to show them we can help you make a car payment. We can help you make 6 figures and everything in between. So understanding those 4 facts and sharing them. After I've shared those 4 facts, and again, it's quick because they've listened to a recorded call that's already gone into it. What are their pain points? What can we help?
Okay.
This is really
shoot, hang on. Let me go back and pause that.
Make sure that when I'm chatting, when I'm sharing my story, and when I am sharing the story of our company, our doctors, everything, that I'm really talking to their needs.
Okay, sorry guys. Okay, that was the majority. I stopped her a little bit early because that was the majority of what I wanted y'all to hear. Our team does things just a tad bit differently, in which I've already said this before, but right to the point where she was just getting about sharing the 4 Ps. That's something we would definitely do and go through in the call, but we hope your upline or whoever you brought the call to hopes that you have already talked about the payment plan. So that's kind of sometimes awkward for the upline to have to do, and it takes way more time than a three-way call should do. So when we say that a person should be qualified for a three-way call, means you should have already told them your short story. They should have a pretty good understanding of just the history of the business. So the history of the company, who the doctors are. Hopefully they have listened to a call, or you have at least sent them that email full of information. And you have talked through their questions about the nitty gritties, like the payment stuff. So you're basically bringing us the call for that third party validation. Now, one thing I do want to say that we are pretty good about doing when you jump on a call with us is, and this just helps everyone take a deep breath, is just to acknowledge right off the front, like, hey, I know this is super weird for us to all be on the phone together. And the first thing I want to tell you is that the purpose of this is not to gang up on you and try to convince you to do this business. That's not the purpose. We would never want to try to convince someone to do something that they're not already feeling led or called to do. And so if I just acknowledge that right off the bat, sometimes I feel like I can almost hear them take a deep breath of like, oh, okay, they're not going to be like, ganging up on me and trying to beg me to do this or whatever. And so saying that right off the front is, I'm just here to offer another perspective and to answer any questions you may have. And then I will typically say, what would be best for you at this point? I do love her idea of starting with a question of like, tell me what you're excited about. And then I will also usually say, what would be best? Do you know that you have questions you want me to address right away, or would you rather hear my story first? Most of them want to hear your story first and then have some time for questions. And then once you have really answered their questions and they're kind of getting to their objections, which we're about to talk about, you can definitely help your consultant handle the objections. But once it feels like the conversation's starting to lull, they may not feel 100% comfortable with you to give you all their objections or their hesitations, but they may want to talk to their friend who brought the, who they're whatever. So a lot of times if I can tell the conversation has gotten to a lull, or we're not getting anywhere or whatever, I will just say, if you've got nothing else for me, I hope that I've helped. Please know you can reach back out to me. But at this point, I'm going to jump off the call and let you guys finish up talking. And now there are other people that are a little bit more pushy about like, so I'm going to jump off the call now so that so-and-so can get you signed up, or, a little, but I tend to let my consultant do all that. So that's how I tend to run a three-way call. I'm sure I still have tons to learn about it. But if you want to go back and finish watching hers, I feel like I could watch it 3 times and still take more notes on it. I think love her setup of the text loop, having everybody on a text that says, hey, just reminding everybody we're jumping on this call tomorrow night at 9:00 or whatever, just so everyone knows and feels like it's an actual appointment. I think that is genius. And then of course the email of tell me about this person. I think that's genius too. So I typically do have people text that to me because I'm not always in front of my computer, but text or email is fine as long as everyone is as long as I know who the person is, kind of those main points that she went over. And I'll probably put a graphic up later with those main points of what you need to include when you send that to your upline, when you're bringing a call to your upline. Okay, let's move on to handling objections. Now she mentioned this very briefly in that video. She said the feel, felt, found method. So there are several things there was like so much information on this, I didn't even know where to start. So some of our homework is going to be watching a couple other videos. Well, one video in particular about objections, but I do want to talk about the feel, felt, found method. So when somebody is bringing you an objection, everyone says, what do I say to this? Or what do I say to that? And I think the best thing to try is the feel, felt, found. So let's say, I just am so nervous I'm not going to have enough time to do this. So your response would be, I hear that you're feeling really nervous about the time commitment. I was really nervous. I felt that way too in the beginning, and I was nervous about the time. But what I have found is I never have to sit down and work this business for hours at a time. It fits into car line and gymnastics and after my kids are in bed at night. It's very small chunks of time that are very doable that I'm already on my phone. I don't feel like I have enough money. I'm really nervous about the money commitment. then, you want to respond with, I hear that you're feeling nervous about the money commitment. I felt the exact same way. I did not have the extra cash flow at the time. What I found was I decided it was going to be a fabulous investment to go ahead and put it on a credit card. And within a few months, I had it paid off, or whatever. So if you'll, in your head, when someone says something to you, if you'll quickly go through that feel, felt, found, you're going to be able to respond much better to them, making them feel like they're being heard and making them feel like you're identifying with their concern, but you have an answer for it, or you have kind of a comeback. All right, there is another quick video. It's about maybe not even 6 or 8 minute video from Becky that she just did a couple weeks ago that I want us to watch together. Does anybody have questions or anything about three-way call yet before we move on to objections? If anybody wants to unmute and ask a question or... Okay, I am going to go find this. I accidentally closed it out, so y'all pardon me while I share the screen and find this video real quick. And then we're going to come back on and talk about homework.
It's Becky Crenshaw for our third week of our Learn and Launch series here in June. So excited for all of you, both new and seasoned. Take people over the always bring three-way objections. I was so encouraged because I've always told my team in training to respond to an objection with a question. And when I read Romy's book, she said the same thing. I wish I could take full credit for this, but she sums it up so much better than me. Okay, so when you have objections, what do you say? You ask a question. So pause and think, what question do I need to ask right here? So here are some of the common objections. First, let me read this to you. Romy says, people will offer objections as to why they don't think the business is right for them. Don't fear objections, embrace them. Listen, objections are a helpful way to move the conversation about your business forward when you treat them like requests for more information. So an objection is a request for more information. She says, I love objections. I love that she says they show the prospect is actually invested enough in the conversation to ask questions. That I can work with. All right, so here we go. You cannot get defensive when you get an objection. You promise me you cannot get defensive because you'll go into convincing mode. You're not trying to convince them. You don't have to convince people to do this. You were just compelling people. Convincing versus compelling. You want to be a compeller, not a convincer. So when someone says, I don't think I have enough time to do this. You ever heard that? Clarifying question. How much time do you really think that you need to build a business? How much time do you really think this takes? I say that a lot. How much time do you really think that this takes me, girl? I could not do this. This is a time sucker. I don't have the money to do this. Have you heard that? Clarifying question. If money wasn't an issue, would you want to jump in and build a business that could help you? And then maybe you repeat their why. Would you want to jump in and start a business that could help you get your kids to that private school that you're praying about? Or, to create some financial stability for your family, or to give your husband some breathing room? If money wasn't an issue, would you do it? That's an easy question. Okay, so I don't have enough money. Would you do it if money wasn't an issue? That's a good response. I don't want to bother my friends. Clarifying question. Why do you think that you would be bothering your friends? So when they say, girl, I just don't want to bother my friends, you say, well, why do you think that you'd be bothering your friends? Get some more information out of them so you can effectively redirect their thinking. All right? I don't know enough people. You heard of that? Clarifying question. How many people do you think that you need to know? Isn't that good? I mean, how many people do you think you need to know? You only need to know 1, 2, 3 people, because we all know it's not just about who we know, it's about who we know knows. Is that right? That's right. I am not a salesperson. Have you heard of that? Oh, yeah. Clarifying question. Why do you think you need a sales background? I mean, how many of us are not salespeople? Right here. I have no sales experience. Right here. So I'm not a salesperson. Why do you think you need to be good at sales? That's not what this is. Okay. The timing just isn't right for me to start a business. Clarifying question. This is good. What would make it the right time? Gather more information. Okay. She says the timing of starting a business, like having kids, will never be perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. But it sounds like you want to, repeat their why. It sounds like you want to give your husband some breathing room. Let's talk about how this could fit in around everything that's on your plate. Isn't that good? All right, love this. Is this a pyramid scheme? Clarifying question. What do you mean by pyramid? Okay, ask them what they mean by that. If they answer referencing a pyramid scheme, then continue. Pyramid schemes are illegal. With pyramid, there is no selling of product or services. And we all know that we are selling not only a product, but the #1 product in skincare. Boom, get you some of that. All right, so engage your objections with confidence and embrace them as an opportunity to share more information. We can work.
Okay, so that's kind of a different take as far as when you hear an objection for to immediately respond with a question. But I think that's great because I think it does keep the conversation going, and then you can use your feel, felt, found method. But you're going to find what works for you and what feels the best depending on who the person is that you're talking to. So there's one other video that is stinking amazing that I listened to when I was on a long drive recently, and I'm going to find the link to that and post it to our page for homework. It's Jim Larson, which if y'all not have listened to any of his trainings, the dude is hilarious. He is preaching it and bringing the house down when he talks. He's so awesome. Him and his wife are both nurses. And he has one recently where he talks about objections. That's just amazing. So I'm going to find that. And then I'm also going to post a mock 3-way call that Becky and then 2 other level 5s. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Jen Pinkner and Lindsay Isham. It's been years ago, but they did a mock 3-way call. And that was just good to just hear so that when people so you have an idea of what to expect when you get on the phone. So that's kind of an idea of our week. Hopefully this was helpful. I feel like it kind of jumped around, but I feel like 3-way calls, and it's a lot of information, but I feel like they go together just so that you kind of know how to talk once you've got somebody on the phone. So that's it for tonight. Thanks y'all for giving me your time and jumping on, and we'll be in touch on the page. Good night, everybody.